Yoo Joonghyuk was looking at everyone except for Lee Hyung-sung. The three remaining people were standing together, and I couldn't exactly figure out who Yoo Joonghyuk was looking at. How is this possible? Who's he looking at? I wanted to ask, but I was afraid my skill would be exposed. Yoo Joonghyuk still didn't know I knew his thoughts. However, I guessed he might have seen the information about Jung Hee-won. Jung Hee-won saw Yoo Joonghyuk's gaze and confronted him. What are you looking at? Good job, Jung Hee-won. Kill. Oh, Yoo Joonghyuk! I quickly opened my mouth. I was wondering about one thing. He turned to look at me. His eyes were questioning. Why are you leaving Gong Pil-do alone? If you're a prophet, you should know. I don't know everything. To be exact, I didn't remember everything. The character Yoo Joonghyuk has used lie detection skill. The character Yoo Joonghyuk has confirmed that your words are true. He was thorough. Indeed, I see. A prophet whose level of future sight is low. Think what you want. Yoo Joonghyuk continued speaking. I need Gong Pil-do alive. Is it because of future scenario? Yoo Joonghyuk didn't answer. It looked like he was trying to gauge the information I knew. I know that you need Gong Pil-do for future scenarios, but you only need Gong Pil-do. You don't need the entire group that follows him. Isn't it your style to remove what isn't needed? Why are you leaving them? How annoying. What? I have a lot to do. Yoo Joonghyuk stared at me quietly and said, You'll never understand. Wait, that isn't the problem. If you don't move now, most of the humans in Chomodo will... Yoo Joonghyuk's eyes were cold. It doesn't matter. I wasn't a humanist. I didn't believe that everyone in the world was worth keeping alive. But Yoo Joonghyuk was pissing me off. Yoo Joonghyuk, can I hit you? If you have the confidence. I angrily formed a fist as I heard a message. The character Yoo Joonghyuk has used strong self-defense level 5. I dropped my fist. Cowardly bastard. Are you finished? Yoo Joonghyuk asked. Let's go. Lee Ji-hye flinched at Yoo Joonghyuk's call. Lee Ji-hye, who belatedly followed Yoo Joonghyuk, looked at me with confused eyes. The constellation Bald General of Justice is impressed by your chivalrous spirit. 100 coins have been sponsored. Of course, it was completely misleading. There are 1 hour and 30 minutes before the third scenario is activated. There wasn't much time left and my mind was complicated. The constellation Bald General of Justice is angry that the people's lives must be risked. The constellation Bald General of Justice wants an uprising. Samyang Don's message rang loudly in my head, but he didn't think of a good way to resolve it. The third scenario lasted exactly 1 week. Maybe Yoo Joonghyuk was planning to gain some other advantage during the third scenario. Of course, I couldn't let it go. The constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband is wondering what you're thinking. That jerk, Yoo Joonghyuk. The constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband is satisfied. 100 coins have been sponsored. In fact, the problem in front of me wasn't Yoo Joonghyuk, but Gong Pil-do. In order to break through the third scenario, Gong Pil-do's help was absolutely necessary. If I couldn't get his help... Suddenly, Jung Hee-won looked up and smiled. Who is it? Huh? You know, that person. The one you were talking about to Yoo Joonghyuk about. I immediately explained about Gong Pil-do. Jung Hee-won was unconscious, so she couldn't have been able to see him. I didn't mean to change the subject. Jung Hee-won immediately reacted. What are these scum? Taking the public facilities and making people pay to use them? Those scum are upstairs. I'll go and throw them out. Jung Hee-won picked up the ground rat blade. That reminded me. I should change their weapons. There was a lot to be done. Your actions are absurd. We can win if we join forces. Don't you remember Gemmo Station? Jung Hee-won's expression was confident. It was natural. Jung Hee-won had the judgment time skill as a trump card. She had good senses and was quick to adapt, so she had already figured out her attribute and skills. Don't dawdle, let's kill him! As long as her opponents were wicked, her judgment time boasted the highest power. The character Jung Hee-won has activated the exclusive skill, Judgment Time. The constellation's absolute good system are silent at Jung Hee-won's request. The skill has been cancelled. Jung Hee-won's face was filled with confusion. No, what? Is it broken? Jung Hee-won tried to activate the skill again. However, the skill wasn't triggered. No, why isn't it activated? Aren't they obviously wicked? I laughed at Jung Hee-won's question. That's what we humans think. What are you talking about? The constellations might be different. There's no guarantee that the good and evil that they know is what we know. Huh. Justice is always decided by the majority. Right now, the majority constellations had decided that they were good. Humans no longer had the right to decide on justice. Humans were just the puppets of their sponsors. I looked at the party members. Everyone didn't say anything, but they thought in a similar way to Jung Hee-won. Lee Hyung-sung wiped the shield that was scratched by the magic bullets, while Yoo Sang-ah and Lee Gil-young sat next to each other on the ground, looking at cockroaches. This sense of despair. I can understand. They thought they understood after getting rid of the gang at Gemmo Station. However, there was an incomparable monster just 3 stations away. It was time to start the torture known as hope. That doesn't mean there isn't a way. Huh? It might be difficult, but there is a way to defeat them. They simultaneously looked at me. Lee Hyung-sung asked, Do you really have a way? What is it? I looked around and lowered my voice. Get Gong Pildu out of the armed zone. His stigma, it's optimized to defend an area. Armed zone. The reason why it was difficult to go against Gong Pildu was this stigma. It was a fraudulent ability that could build turrets in an area. Right now it's just armed zone, but once the stigma evolved in the future, it would become armed fortress, and a siege needed to be prepared to catch him. However, Gong Pildu had an obvious weakness. His armed zone will be released as soon as he leaves his designated area. His mini turrets will also become useless. Usually there are many restrictions to such a wide defense skill. At the same time, Lee Hyung-sung and Jung Hee-won looked at me with admiration. Ah, I see. You figured out that they're seeing it once? Is this Tokushi's attribute? The same thing was repeated, but I saw that the people adapted to me to some extent. Yoo-sung asked, Then how will you make a move? We have to think about that now. I hate thinking, Jung Hee-won complained. Then everyone was silent for a while. It was Lee Hyung-sung who gave his idea first. Attack when he goes to the bathroom? Didn't you see the things next to the bench? Gong Pildu never moved out of his arm zone. His bench had everything he needed. There were all the basics to eat and sleep, a sleeping bag, blanket, food, water, and even a place to piss. Of course, the tenants provided him with all of it. Crazy. He's a complete shut-in. No. Is he not moving because he's hiding something good on the land? It's the biggest room in Cheongmuro. Room? That reminds me, Jung Hee-won still didn't know about the rooms, but there was no need for me to explain. There's 1 hour before the third scenario is activated. She would soon find out. We also need to find a room. The moment our party got up, the people around us flinched. Don't come closer! In particular, the man with a knife who was protecting a single-person room on number 3 line platform showed high vigilance. However, other people rushed towards him before we could approach. Get out, you fucker! They attacked indiscriminately. As the man was pushed out, the mark on the green zone changed. Green zone 1-1 to green zone 0-1. The people were engaged in a bloody fight over the room. Someone was stabbed in the thigh while someone else had their nose broken. Jung Hee-won frowned. Shouldn't we stop that? Even if we intervene, the result will be the same. In the end, someone has to die. Why does somebody have to die? It isn't impossible to avoid this scenario. I just finished speaking when Bi-hyung emerged in the air. Now, shall we start the third day of the main scenario? New faces have arrived, so won't it be fun? Bi-hyung glanced my way. There were 3 dokubis in charge of Cheongmuro scenario. It seemed that Bi-hyung was temporarily the representative. It was a natural consequence to being the smallest of the 3 channels. Then the third scenario arrived in front of us. Main scenario number 3. Green zone, day 3. Category, main. Difficulty, C. Clear conditions. Occupy the green zone and the station, and survive the monsters that emerge every night. This scenario will last 7 days. Duration, 8 hours. Compensation, 1,000 coins. Failure? Lee Hyung-sung's eyes widened. It's simple. Occupy the green zone before other people. Of course, you can take away the green zones of others. By the way, you should hurry. If you don't have a green zone after the scenario time starts, you'll have a terrible experience. Then everyone should try it. People's expressions were hardened as they heard Bi-hyung's words. In the meantime, the screams of the people continued. Die! Die! I'm not doing this because I have a grudge. I have to survive. Maybe this was what everyone realized. The struggle in front of us was no longer a story. Yoo-sung asked in a trembling voice, Surely we don't have to fight these people. We don't need to fight. Just find a room that can accommodate a large number of people. The sizes of the green zones vary by type. It's ranged from fitting only 1 person to fitting 70 people like Gong Pildu's area. Of course, if there are any rooms left. Jung Hee-won opened her mouth at my words. Tokushi is really talented in making people uneasy. Then let's move right away. Maybe there are some rooms left. It might be faster to split up. Divide the team. Hyung-sung-shi will move with Sang-ah-shi, while Hee-won-shi will take Gil-yong. Tokusha-shi? I'm fine on my own. I didn't have to say anything else. Everyone trusted me. Lee Gil-yong spoke first. Hyung, what if we can't find one? If we can't find a room, then 20 minutes before the scenario starts, we'll gather here again. I understand. And I'm going. The team scattered in an orderly fashion. Jung Hee-won and Lee Gil-yong went to B2, while Yoo-sung and Lee Hyung-sung went to B3. I watched my companions leave before turning on my smartphone. As soon as I opened up Ways of Survival, a sentence popped up. There were no rooms left in Cheongmuro. This fact was clearly written. It was likely they wouldn't be able to find rooms. Then they could only do one thing. In order to survive, kill someone else and take their room. But could Lee Hyung-sung and Jung Hee-won do it? Not everyone here was wicked. There were some people who exploited others like Gong Pildu, but in fact most of them bared their teeth in order to protect themselves. Could Yoo-sung and Lee Gil-yong bare their teeth at people like that? I would know the answer very soon.